Hi everyone, welcome back to Stoic Mindset. Today, let's explore 11 secret signs she's multiple partners. When you are in a relationship, trust and honesty are the most important foundations. However, there are times when you may feel confused or worried about your partner's commitment. The question of whether she is maintaining various relationships can cause you to lose sleep, wonder, and feel uncertain about your current relationship. It's important to recognize subtle signs that she may not be completely honest about her love life. But how do you approach this wisely, without letting anxiety or jealousy control you? This video will give 11 subtle signs that can show she is in multiple relationships at the same time. However, instead of simply paying attention to these signs, you should apply Stoicism's thinking to face the situation rationally, without being carried away by emotions. Calmness and inner control are the keys to making the right decisions and protecting your self-esteem in every situation. Don't miss this important video. Watch it until the end with us. Click like the video. Write your share below the video in the comments section. And now, let's get started. 1. She avoids discussing long-term commitment. In any relationship, conversations about the future and long-term commitment often mark a significant turning point where both partners gain a clearer understanding of each other and chart the course of the relationship. However, if she consistently avoids discussing topics like marriage, settling down, or deepening the relationship, it might be a sign that she's not fully committed. This can leave you feeling anxious, uncertain about the future, and unsure of her level of commitment. When a woman hesitates or avoids talking about long-term plans, it could indicate that she's unsure about the relationship. There are various reasons someone might avoid commitment, such as emotional unpreparedness, a desire to maintain personal freedom, or even weighing multiple relationship options. Here are some signs to look for. Avoiding future-related conversations. When you bring up questions about your future together, she often dodges or changes the subject. This might include not wanting to talk about living together, marriage, or taking the relationship to a more serious level. Unclear about her emotions. She may not give clear answers regarding her feelings for you. Instead of sharing deep emotions or her level of commitment, she often keeps her distance or provides vague, non-committal responses. Avoiding important life events. If she's hesitant to participate in significant life events, like meeting your family, close friends, or attending events that tie into your long-term future, she might not be interested in committing. Ambiguity when discussing your relationship. When asked about the relationship, she might give unclear responses about whether or not you two have a future together. Instead of talking about commitment, she might dodge with phrases like, "Let's just see where things go." There are several reasons someone might avoid long-term commitment. Some people might not feel emotionally or financially ready for a long-term relationship. Others might have been hurt in past relationships and fear that commitment could lead to loss. Additionally, she might be uncertain about her feelings toward you. When someone isn't fully emotionally invested, they may avoid discussing the future to prevent misunderstandings or unnecessary pressure. It's crucial to understand the root cause of this avoidance so you can make an informed decision. Stoicism, an ancient philosophy, teaches people to approach life with serenity and resilience. Rather than letting emotions dictate behavior, Stoics focus on accepting reality and controlling what they can. When faced with her avoidance of long-term commitment conversations, you might feel anxious and want to push for clarity. However, Stoicism advises not to cling to expectations from others. The philosophy teaches that other people's actions and decisions are beyond our control. Instead of trying to change her or forcing a conversation she's not ready for, accept that you cannot control her emotions or actions. A core principle of Stoicism is accepting what you cannot change and focusing on controlling your own reactions. Instead of letting her uncertainty cause distress, focus on maintaining your own calm and emotional stability. As Epictetus once said, "We cannot control the things that happen to us, but we can control how we react to them." When you notice that she's avoiding discussions about the future, it's important to consider whether this is a sign of her unwillingness to commit or if she simply needs more time. Rather than becoming anxious or feeling pressured, Learn to respect her decisions and give the relationship some healthy space. You can have an open conversation about your feelings and expectations, but don't pressure her into making immediate decisions. If she needs time, allow her the space to think. The key is not to overly depend on her response or decision, but to focus on maintaining your own emotional balance and self-worth. Her avoidance of long-term commitment discussions may be a sign of uncertainty or lack of commitment in the relationship. However, instead of letting anxiety take over, it's essential to approach this situation calmly and rationally, following the Stoic philosophy. Accept that you cannot control another person's behavior, and rather than forcing things, focus on how you respond to this situation. Maintaining calm and control will help you make the right decision and keep your peace of mind, regardless of the outcome. True power doesn't lie in controlling others, but in mastering yourself. 2. Lack of clarity. About personal schedule. In any relationship, transparency and trust are essential foundations for building a lasting bond. However, when someone frequently fails to provide clear information about their personal schedule or reasons for being absent, it can create suspicion and insecurity. This lack of clarity can leave you questioning the level of honesty and transparency in the relationship. Instead of knowing where she's going or what she's doing, you might find yourself left with many unanswered questions. There are many ways someone can hide or avoid sharing details about their personal schedule. Below are some common signs you might notice. She gives vague answers. When you ask her about her plans or schedule, she often provides unclear responses like, "Don't worry, I'm just busy with some things," or "I have personal matters to handle." These answers can leave you feeling uncertain and unsure about her transparency. Frequent absences without clear reasons. You notice that she often disappears for extended periods without giving you any advance notice or convincing reason. This can raise doubts about whether she's hiding something. Inconsistencies between words and actions. Sometimes she may tell you she's busy with a specific task or event, but later you discover that what she said wasn't accurate or true. This inconsistency can further erode your trust, unwillingness to share personal plans or time. When you try to coordinate plans or understand more about each other's lives, she seems uncomfortable or unwilling to share details about her schedule. There are many ways someone can hide or avoid sharing details about their personal schedule. Below are some common signs you might notice. She gives vague answers. When you ask her about her plans or schedule, she often provides unclear responses like, "Don't worry, I'm just busy with some things," or "I have personal matters to handle." These answers can leave you feeling uncertain and unsure about her transparency. Frequent absences without clear reasons. You notice that she often disappears for extended periods without giving you any advance notice or convincing reason. This can raise doubts about whether she's hiding something. Inconsistencies between words and actions. Sometimes she may tell you she's busy with a specific task or event, but later you discover that what she said wasn't accurate or true. This inconsistency can further erode your trust, unwillingness to share personal plans or time. When you try to coordinate plans or understand more about each other's lives, she seems uncomfortable or unwilling to share details about her schedule. Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This philosophy emphasizes that we cannot control other people's actions, but we have full control over how we respond to situations. In this case, rather than trying to control her schedule or force her to be transparent, you need to focus on controlling your own emotions. Anxiety, suspicion, and jealousy are natural emotions, but they don't contribute to building a healthy relationship. Instead, focus on maintaining calmness and self-control, not letting these negative emotions take over. When faced with a lack of clarity from her regarding her personal schedule, instead of reacting emotionally, you can take a more constructive approach with a Stoic mindset. Be open and honest about your feelings. Instead of holding in your concerns, discuss your feelings with her. Explain that the lack of transparency in her schedule makes you feel uncertain and anxious about the relationship. However, have this conversation calmly, without letting your emotions get the best of you. Accept that you cannot control others. Once you've discussed your concerns and understand her reasons for not sharing her schedule, you need to learn to accept her decision. You can't force her to change her behavior, but you can control how you react and manage your emotions. Focus on yourself and what you can control. In any relationship, maintaining self-respect and autonomy is crucial. If she cannot provide the transparency you need to feel secure, you have the right to make decisions about whether to continue the relationship. But ensure that your decisions aren't driven by jealousy or unhealthy insecurities. Practice patience and serenity. Stoicism encourages you to practice patience and calmness when faced with uncertainties in life. Not every aspect of someone's behavior needs to be clear to you, and sometimes learning to trust and accept uncertainty is a crucial part of personal growth. A lack of clarity about personal schedules in a relationship can cause anxiety and doubt, but how you handle this situation is what truly matters. Instead of trying to control or force transparency from her, apply Stoic principles to maintain calmness and control your emotions. Epictetus teaches us that accepting what is beyond our control is the key to happiness and avoiding being swept away by negative emotions. Stay calm, maintain your self-respect and self-control, because these are the real paths to a healthy relationship and inner peace. Number 3, she avoids introducing you to her friends and family. Introducing a partner to close friends and family is often a significant step in a relationship, symbolizing commitment and the desire to build a future together. However, if she constantly avoids or limits introducing you to the important people in her life, it might raise concerns about her level of commitment. This situation can lead to feelings of insecurity and make you question the transparency of your relationship. If she frequently dodges opportunities for you to meet the important people in her life, it could indicate that she's not ready for a serious commitment or may even be involved in multiple relationships. Below are some common signs that you might observe. She doesn't bring you to family or friend events. When there are family gatherings, birthday parties, or celebrations, she avoids inviting you or comes up with excuses for you not to attend. This could be a sign of reluctance to commit or to keep you separate from her personal life. She avoids talking about her family or friends. When you ask about her family or friends, she tends to give vague answers or doesn't share much information. This could indicate that she doesn't want you to get closer to her personal circle. She's uncomfortable when you mention meeting her family or friends. If you bring up the idea of meeting her family or friends, she may evade the topic or give unreasonable excuses to delay it. This discomfort could reflect her hesitation about making the relationship public. She keeps your relationship in the dark. You may feel that your relationship is hidden from the people who matter most in her life, and that not many people even know you exist in her world. This can be a red flag that she's not serious or is maintaining multiple relationships. Introducing you to her family and friends is a crucial step in any serious relationship. It shows that she values you and wants you to be part of her life. When someone avoids this, it raises questions about the level of commitment and transparency in the relationship. There could be various reasons she may not be ready to introduce you. She might not feel emotionally prepared, fear how her family or friends might react, or she may be unsure about the future of the relationship. However, it could also indicate that she's juggling multiple relationships and doesn't want to commit. When you realize that she's limiting your introduction to her family and friends, it's natural to feel hurt or excluded. However, this is where Stoic philosophy can help you maintain a sense of calm and self-control. Stoicism teaches that true happiness and fulfillment come from within, from self-mastery and inner strength, rather than seeking validation from others. Epictetus, a prominent Stoic philosopher, once said, "We cannot control the opinions of others, but we can fully control how we react to them." This means that instead of worrying or stressing over her reluctance to introduce you, you should focus on how you respond to the situation. Her reluctance to introduce you to her family and friends could be a sign of hesitation or uncertainty about the future of the relationship. However, instead of seeking validation from her, focus on approaching the situation with a Stoic mindset. Happiness and fulfillment do not come from external recognition, but from self-control and inner strength. Live by your values and maintain your confidence, no matter how others behave. 4. She maintains a secretive social media persona. In today's world, social media plays a major role in connecting people and sharing personal lives. In a relationship, publicly sharing about your partner is often a sign of commitment and trust. However, if she maintains a secretive or vague social media presence, avoiding any public acknowledgement of your relationship, it may lead to questions about her honesty and level of commitment. Is she simply protecting her privacy, or is this a sign that she's juggling multiple relationships? If she keeps her social media presence vague and doesn't publicly acknowledge your relationship, here are some signs you might notice. She doesn't post photos or information about you. When you look at her social media profiles, there's little to no evidence of your relationship. She shares many other things, but never mentions your presence in her life. She avoids mentioning you in her posts. Even if she shares aspects of her personal life, she carefully avoids bringing you up or only refers to you in a vague, indirect manner. This might signal her desire to keep your relationship under wraps. She doesn't want to tag you in posts or shared moments. When you're together at events or enjoying special moments, she avoids tagging you or publicly sharing those memories. This could be a sign that she doesn't want to make your relationship known to others. She has many out-of-reach periods. In addition to her secretive social media persona, she may also have periods where she's unreachable, leaving you uncertain about what she's doing. The combination of a vague online presence and unexplained absences can make you wonder if she's hiding something. Social media is an integral part of many people's lives. Publicly sharing about a relationship isn't a requirement, but if you feel that she's actively keeping you and your relationship hidden, it can raise suspicions. She may have legitimate reasons for keeping the relationship private, such as protecting her privacy or avoiding unnecessary scrutiny, especially if her job or social environment is sensitive. However, when privacy becomes excessive and lacks transparency, it may be a red flag that she's maintaining multiple relationships and doesn't want anyone to know about yours. In these situations, it's natural to feel hurt and unsure about your relationship. You might question whether she's truly serious about you. However, this is where Stoic philosophy can help you maintain a sense of calm and focus on what really matters. Marcus Aurelius, one of the great Stoic philosophers, emphasized that we should not seek validation from the external world. True happiness and inner peace do not come from how others behave toward us, but from how we control our emotions and live according to our principles. Stoicism advises that instead of worrying about whether she publicly acknowledges your relationship on social media, you should focus on how you respond to the situation. You cannot control her behavior, but you can control how you perceive and handle it. When you feel that she's maintaining a secretive social media persona and not publicly sharing your relationship, here are some Stoic-inspired approaches that may help. Openly discuss your feelings. Rather than bottling up your concerns or becoming frustrated, have an open and honest conversation with her. Explain that the lack of transparency on social media makes you feel uncertain. However, ensure that the conversation remains calm and respectful. Don't force her to change. Stoicism teaches that we cannot control others. If she chooses to keep her social media private, that's something you cannot force her to change. Instead, focus on how you can maintain emotional balance and not let this affect your sense of self-worth. Don't let social media define your relationship. Sometimes social media can create an illusion of what's truly important. Instead of relying on social media to validate your relationship, focus on how she treats you in real life. Trust and commitment can exist without being showcased online. Reevaluate the relationship. If, after discussing the issue, she remains unwilling to change or offer a clear explanation, you might want to consider whether this relationship is truly right for you. A healthy relationship requires transparency and trust from both sides. Her secretive social media persona and reluctance to publicly share your relationship may be a sign of hesitancy or even the possibility that she's juggling multiple relationships. However, rather than seeking validation through how she behaves online, approach the situation with a Stoic mindset. What matters most is that you remain grounded in your principles, not allowing others' actions to undermine your value or inner peace. 5. She has many out-of-reach periods. In any relationship, consistent presence and connection play a crucial role in building trust and intimacy. When your partner frequently disappears for extended periods without a clear explanation, it can raise feelings of anxiety, insecurity, and even cause you to question if something might be wrong. Not knowing where she is or what she's doing during these times can lead to doubts about her commitment and transparency in the relationship. When she often has unexplained periods of being out of reach, you may start noticing several telltale signs, such as she doesn't respond to messages or calls for long periods. A common sign is that she frequently doesn't reply to texts or calls, or only responds after a considerable delay. When you ask about the reason, she may give vague or inconsistent excuses. She doesn't provide clear explanations about her schedule. When you inquire about what she's been up to during those times, she may avoid the question or offer ambiguous answers. This lack of clarity can erode your trust. She disappears without prior notice. Occasionally, she will disappear without letting you know in advance or providing a clear reason, leaving you wondering what she's doing and whether something is off. Her behavior changes when she returns. After these unexplained absences, she might act distant or cold, which only heightens your suspicions about her commitment to the relationship. In any relationship, transparency and communication are key factors that help build trust and connection. When someone tends to disappear without valid reasons or clear explanations, it can lead to feelings of insecurity and doubt. A lack of consistent presence and accessibility may indicate they are dividing their time between multiple relationships or simply not fully invested in the current one. There can be various reasons why someone might have frequent out-of-reach periods. Some might be busy with work, family responsibilities, or personal matters. However, if these absences occur often without adequate explanation, it could lead to concerns that they are not being entirely truthful. Epictetus, one of the most well-known Stoic philosophers, once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This emphasizes that while we can't control others' actions, we have full control over our own emotions and behavior. When faced with her frequent, out-of-reach periods, apply Stoic principles to maintain your calm and not let this disturb your inner peace. You cannot force her to explain or change her behavior, but you can control how you approach this with patience and reason. When she frequently has these unexplained out-of-reach periods, here are some constructive approaches you can take. Openly and honestly discuss your feelings. Start by having a calm and direct conversation about how her disappearances make you feel. Let her know that it leaves you feeling uncertain about the relationship. However, ensure that the conversation remains respectful and doesn't escalate into conflict. Accept that you cannot control others. Stoicism teaches that you can't control other people's behavior, only how you react. If she can't provide the transparency you need, that's something you cannot change. Instead of worrying and trying to control the situation, focus on staying calm and centered. Don't let this affect your self-worth. While her behavior may leave you feeling insecure, don't allow it to influence how you view yourself. Stoicism teaches that our value comes from within and shouldn't be dependent on others' actions. Reevaluate the relationship. If this behavior continues and she is unwilling to change or offer clarity after your discussion, it might be time to reassess the relationship. A healthy relationship requires trust, transparency, and communication from both sides. Her frequent, out-of-reach periods could be a sign of a lack of commitment or that she may be dividing her time with others. However, rather than letting this situation disrupt your peace of mind, apply the principles of Stoicism to stay calm and unaffected by actions that are outside of your control. What's most important is that you remain patient, rational, and true to your values, regardless of how others choose to behave. 6. Defensive or uncomfortable attitude. When asked about the relationship, in a relationship, open communication and transparency are the foundation for deeper understanding and long-lasting trust. However, if your partner becomes defensive, uncomfortable, or avoids answering questions when you bring up the relationship, it can raise concerns. This kind of reaction may be a sign that she is hiding something or is not being entirely honest about her feelings. Instead of offering clear answers, she might choose to dodge the conversation, which only increases suspicion. If you notice that she often acts defensively or uncomfortably whenever you try to discuss the relationship, here are some common signs to watch out for. She changes the subject when you ask about the future of the relationship. When you attempt to talk about important topics like future plans, commitment, or how she feels about the relationship, she may suddenly switch topics or seem unwilling to continue the conversation. She overreacts and gets angry. Rather than answering your questions openly, she may become angry, feel attacked, or accuse you of not trusting her. This defensiveness could be a sign that she's hiding something. She avoids serious conversations. When you try to have a meaningful discussion about the relationship or dig deeper into her emotions and thoughts, she may avoid it altogether, refusing to engage in those types of discussions. She becomes distant or silent. Another sign of defensiveness is when she withdraws or creates distance between you when you bring up the relationship. She might not directly confront the topic, but her coldness or silence can reflect discomfort or anxiety about being honest. When someone becomes defensive or uncomfortable every time they're asked about the relationship, it could be a sign they're concealing something. They may not want to discuss their emotions or might be unwilling to face the reality of the relationship. This can stem from several reasons, such as not being ready for commitment, uncertainty about their feelings, or even maintaining multiple relationships at once. Avoidant or defensive behavior typically reflects anxiety and discomfort with the current situation. If someone isn't willing to address questions about the relationship, it might be because they don't want to face the truth or aren't ready to handle the issues that the relationship may be facing. Stoic philosophy, especially from figures like Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus, encourages transparency and honesty in communication. According to them, avoiding problems or trying to hide emotions only adds complexity and suffering. As Epictetus said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Instead of getting frustrated or reacting harshly to her defensiveness, Stoicism teaches that you should approach the truth, even when it's difficult, and not let negative emotions cloud your judgment. When you notice that she's acting defensively or avoiding questions, here are some steps you can take, inspired by the Stoic philosophy. Stay calm, and don't let emotions control you. Rather than reacting emotionally or becoming angry, stay calm and approach the situation with clarity. Avoid letting your emotions drive your response, as this can escalate the tension and make things worse. Accept that you cannot control others. According to Stoicism, you cannot control how others behave or react, but you can control how you respond. If she's unwilling to discuss the relationship, you need to accept this reality without trying to force her hand. Openly discuss your feelings. Instead of keeping your worries and suspicions to yourself, have an honest discussion about how her defensiveness makes you feel. Explain that it leaves you uncertain about the relationship and that you're seeking more openness. Make sure the conversation is calm and not filled with pressure. Reevaluate the relationship. If after your discussion she continues to avoid or refuses to address the issues, it may be time to reassess the relationship. A healthy relationship requires transparency and honesty from both parties, and without open communication, it's difficult for the relationship to move forward. A defensive or avoidant attitude when asked about the relationship could indicate that she's hiding something. However, instead of allowing anxiety and suspicion to take over, you can approach the situation with the calm mindset of a Stoic. Stay composed, communicate openly, and don't let negative emotions disrupt your inner peace. The key is to remain rational, live by your values, and face any situation with honesty and patience. 7. She avoids public events or places where you could meet people she knows. In a relationship, attending public events together or meeting each other's acquaintances is a natural way to show commitment and transparency. It reflects a couple's desire to integrate their lives and demonstrate openness about their connection. However, if you notice that your partner frequently avoids public events or places where you might run into people she knows, This could raise concerns about her sincerity and commitment to the relationship. If she tends to avoid public events or places where you might encounter people she knows, you might notice a few of these signs. She always has an excuse to avoid joint events. Whenever you suggest attending important events together, such as parties with friends, work events, or holiday gatherings, she often finds reasons to opt out. These reasons might seem valid, like being busy with work or not feeling well, but if it happens too frequently, it could indicate she's purposely avoiding those situations. She suggests going to places where you won't run into anyone she knows. Instead of agreeing to go to places where you might bump into mutual friends or acquaintances, she prefers to visit more private, unfamiliar spots. This behavior could suggest she doesn't want to publicly acknowledge your relationship. She's uncomfortable when you suggest meeting her family or friends. If you bring up the idea of meeting her family or friends, she may postpone or deflect the conversation. Her reluctance may signal that she's not ready to introduce you to the important people in her life. She avoids places where your friends or acquaintances might be. If she shows reluctance or discomfort when going to places where you could meet people you know, this may be a sign that she's not eager for others to see you together. In a healthy relationship, both partners usually want to share their lives with those around them, including family, friends, and colleagues. Attending public events together or meeting each other's acquaintances is a way to show mutual commitment and confidence in the relationship. However, when someone consistently avoids these events, it can make the other person feel disrespected or like they're being kept hidden. This often leads to suspicions that the partner might be hiding something or even maintaining multiple relationships and doesn't want anyone to know. There are many reasons why someone might avoid public events. Perhaps she's not ready to go public with the relationship, is worried about judgment from her family or friends, or has private issues she's not ready to share. However, if this avoidance happens regularly without reasonable explanations, it could indicate a lack of commitment or unwillingness to take the relationship seriously. When faced with a situation where your partner frequently avoids public events or places where acquaintances could be, it's natural to feel confused and concerned. However, according to Stoic philosophy, rather than trying to control someone else's behavior or force them to change, you should focus on how you react to the situation. Marcus Aurelius, one of the great Stoic philosophers, said, "Learn to accept what you cannot control." In this case, the key isn't to try and change her behavior, but to accept that you can't control how others act. Instead of letting uncertainty disturb your peace, focus on maintaining your inner calm and not letting things beyond your control affect your well-being. If you notice that she avoids public events or places where you could run into people she knows, here are some constructive ways to approach the situation with a Stoic mindset. Stay calm and don't overreact. Instead of feeling hurt or getting angry, remain calm and avoid letting your emotions take over. Staying composed allows you to address the situation rationally without escalating tensions unnecessarily. Have an open and honest conversation. Start a candid discussion with her. Explain that her avoidance of public events or places where you could meet acquaintances makes you feel uneasy and concerned. Ask her about the real reasons behind this behavior and listen to her response without being judgmental. Accept what you cannot control. In the spirit of Stoicism, understand that you can't force her to change if she's not ready. Instead of trying to control every aspect of the relationship, learn to accept that some things are beyond your control. This acceptance helps you maintain your inner peace and prevents uncertainty from disrupting your calm. Reevaluate the relationship. If, after discussing the issue, she remains unwilling to address it or provide a reasonable explanation, it might be time to reassess the relationship. A healthy relationship requires transparency, commitment, and the ability to share your lives with one another. If these elements are lacking, it may be worth considering whether the relationship is right for you. Her avoidance of public events or places where you might meet people she knows could signal a lack of commitment or hesitation about the relationship. However, instead of letting this uncertainty cause you stress or anxiety, apply Stoic principles to approach the situation. Learn to accept what you can't control, stay calm, and don't let uncertainty disrupt your inner peace. The most important thing is to live according to your values and face any situation with poise and clarity. Number 8. She lacks emotional connection in important conversations. Emotional connection is the foundation for building and maintaining a strong bond. Deep conversations about the future, emotions, and personal experiences provide opportunities for both partners to understand each other better. However, if you notice that your partner seems emotionally distant during important conversations or lacks genuine interest, this can leave you feeling disconnected and concerned about the relationship's future. When someone isn't emotionally invested in the relationship, you may notice several signs. She doesn't genuinely listen. In deep conversations, you may feel that she isn't truly listening or isn't interested in what you're sharing. Instead of actively engaging, she might respond superficially or without giving meaningful feedback. She frequently changes the subject. When you try to discuss important topics or talk about emotions, she tends to shift the conversation to unrelated subjects. This could be a sign that she's avoiding emotional issues in the relationship. She avoids talking about emotions. Another sign of a lack of emotional connection is when she avoids or refuses to share her own emotions. Instead of opening up and expressing her thoughts and feelings, she may become distant or keep important things to herself. Conversations feel shallow. Instead of having deep, meaningful discussions, you may notice that your conversations revolve around surface-level topics. She no longer shares important aspects of her life, which can leave you feeling that the relationship is losing its depth. A relationship isn't just about physical closeness, but also about emotional and mental connection. When someone doesn't invest emotionally in important conversations, it can make the other person feel neglected or uncared for. This lack of emotional connection can gradually lead to a loss of trust and intimacy in the relationship. There are various reasons why someone might avoid emotional connection. She may be going through personal struggles, feeling uncertain about the relationship, or even losing her emotional attachment. In some cases, a lack of emotional connection can signal doubts about the future of the relationship or her readiness to commit long-term. When you feel that your partner is no longer emotionally connected, it's natural to feel disappointed or insecure. You may start wondering if you've done something wrong or if the relationship can be salvaged. However, this is a perfect moment to apply Stoic philosophy to help maintain your composure and take control of the situation. According to Epictetus, one of the most renowned Stoic philosophers, we shouldn't rely on others to find happiness. Each person is responsible for their own emotions and happiness, rather than expecting others to meet all their emotional needs. Happiness and freedom begin with a clear understanding of one principle. Some things are within our control, and some things are not. In this situation, rather than feeling hurt that she's not investing in the relationship as much as you'd like, remember that your happiness should not depend entirely on someone else's emotional involvement. Instead of seeking validation from her, focus on how you can manage your emotions and cultivate a sense of inner peace and self-sufficiency. When you feel that she is emotionally disconnected during important conversations, here are a few approaches you can take to maintain your composure and handle the situation thoughtfully. Face reality directly. Instead of avoiding the issue or silently worrying, address the reality by having an open conversation about your feelings. Let her know that her emotional disengagement is making you feel uneasy, and seek to understand where she stands emotionally. Stay calm and don't let emotions take control. Stoicism teaches that negative emotions can cloud our judgment and lead to rash actions. In this case, maintain your calmness and avoid letting frustration or anger dictate your response. Accept that you cannot control others. According to Stoic principles, you cannot control someone else's emotions or behavior. If she isn't willing to share her feelings or isn't emotionally available, you need to accept that this is something beyond your control. Take responsibility for your own emotions. Instead of relying on her to meet your emotional needs, focus on how you can create happiness and peace within yourself. Remember, your emotions and happiness depend on how you manage your inner world. not on the actions of fuss. A lack of emotional connection during important conversations can be a sign of underlying issues in a relationship. However, instead of letting this situation cause anxiety or insecurity, you can apply the principles of Stoicism to remain calm and in control. Remember that your happiness should not be dependent on someone else, but should come from managing your own emotions and maintaining inner peace. Room 9. She shows signs of double standards and jealousy. In a relationship, jealousy often arises when one partner feels insecure or anxious about the other's attention to someone else. If not properly managed, jealousy can lead to tension and conflict within the relationship. However, the issue becomes even more complicated when one person applies double standards. She shows jealousy over your interactions, but refuses to let you know about hers. This behavior could indicate she is maintaining multiple relationships or has something to hide. When she exhibits jealousy one way, here are some signs to look out for. She gets jealous when you meet with female friends. If she becomes anxious or upset when you spend time with female friends, it's a sign of jealousy. However, if you notice that she's not transparent about her own relationships or avoids telling you about her friends, this could indicate a double standard. She expects you to share everything, but doesn't reciprocate. She might demand that you keep her updated on your activities and who you're meeting, but she doesn't offer the same transparency about her own life. This imbalance can make you feel uncomfortable and create a sense of inequality in the relationship. She overreacts to minor actions. If she has extreme reactions to small interactions with others, but becomes defensive when you inquire about her social life, it's a sign that something is off. This kind of behavior points to a potential double standard in how jealousy is handled. She keeps her schedule secretive. While she expects you to be open about your whereabouts and activities, she remains vague about who she's seeing or what she's doing when she's away. This lack of clarity is a red flag, especially when combined with her jealous reactions. Jealousy is natural in relationships, but when it's paired with double standards, it creates an unfair and unbalanced dynamic. This can lead to feelings of insecurity and mistrust. When one person expects transparency from you, but refuses to offer the same in return, it can raise suspicions about their honesty and sincerity. Additionally, double standards in jealousy can increase unnecessary tension and conflict. When one partner feels controlled or restricted while the other remains secretive, it damages the trust and emotional connection between the two. Stoic philosophy teaches that we shouldn't react impulsively based on emotions, especially emotions like jealousy, that don't offer constructive solutions. As Epictetus said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Jealousy is a negative emotion that can lead to irrational behavior and does little to resolve underlying issues in a relationship. Rather than letting jealousy dictate your actions, Stoicism encourages you to remain calm and in control of your emotions. This doesn't mean you should ignore signs of double standards, but it does mean approaching the situation with reason and clarity without letting your emotions cloud your judgment. When you feel that she's applying double standards in terms of jealousy, here are some constructive steps to take. Stay calm and don't react immediately. Instead of jumping to conclusions or acting out of frustration, keep your composure and think rationally about the situation. Stoicism teaches that overreacting only escalates problems. Have an open discussion about your feelings. Rather than letting jealousy take over, have a calm and honest conversation with her. Explain that her double standards are making you uncomfortable and that you value transparency and balance in the relationship. Focus on what you can control. According to Stoicism, you can't control others' behavior, but you can control how you react. Instead of trying to control her relationships or demanding excessive transparency, focus on managing your emotions and maintaining your self-respect. Reevaluate the relationship. If, after discussing the issue, she continues to exhibit jealousy while being secretive about her own relationships, it may be time to reconsider the relationship. A healthy relationship requires fairness and transparency from both sides. If these elements are missing, it might be necessary to make an important decision for your well-being. Her signs of double standards in jealousy can point to an imbalance or unfairness in the relationship. However, instead of allowing feelings of jealousy or suspicion to dictate your actions, you can approach the situation through the lens of Stoicism. Control your emotions, stay calm, and don't let jealousy disrupt your inner peace. The key is to seek transparency and fairness in the relationship without letting negative emotions damage your own sense of well-being. 10. She maintains multiple close friends you don't know. In a healthy relationship, transparency and sharing each other's lives are crucial for building trust and connection. When you're in love, it's natural to know about the important people in your partner's life, especially those they call close friends. However, if she has multiple people she refers to as close friends, but you've never been introduced or met them, it can raise concerns about the transparency and honesty in your relationship. If you feel like she has several close friendships but hasn't shared much about them or introduced you, here are some signs that could indicate something is off. She mentions close friends you've never met. If she frequently talks about close friends you've never met or even heard of, this can be a red flag. She might bring them up during specific situations, but never intends to introduce them to you. She avoids sharing specific information about them. When you ask more about these close friends, she may act vague or avoid giving clear answers. She might not be forthcoming about her relationship with these people, or doesn't want you to dig deeper. She spends time with them, but you're not invited. If she spends a significant amount of time with these close friends, but you're never included or invited, it can make you feel excluded from a crucial part of her life. She gets defensive when you ask about them. When you try to ask about her relationships with these close friends, she may become defensive or uncomfortable, rather than openly sharing. This defensiveness could be a sign that she's not being transparent in the relationship. In any relationship, having close friends is perfectly normal and healthy. However, when she has several close friends that you're unaware of or never introduced to, it can create anxiety and suspicion. This is especially true if she spends a lot of time with them without involving you, or if she's not clear about her relationship with these people. A lack of transparency in a relationship can lead to feelings of insecurity and mistrust. You might start questioning her sincerity and whether she's hiding something. While there may be valid reasons for this behavior, such as her desire to protect her friend's privacy, if it happens frequently without clear explanations, it can have a negative impact on the relationship. Epictetus, one of the most well-known Stoic philosophers, taught that we cannot control what happens around us, but we can control how we respond to it. In this situation, rather than trying to control her or force her to change, what you can control is your emotional response. Not everything in a relationship is within your power, and fixating on what you cannot control will only add more stress and anxiety. If you feel like she's maintaining multiple close friends that you don't know, here are some constructive ways to handle the situation based on Stoic principles. Stay calm and don't let emotions take over. Instead of letting jealousy or anxiety consume you, stay calm and approach the situation objectively. Reacting impulsively or with frustration will only escalate tension and won't resolve the underlying issues. Have an open conversation about your feelings. Rather than harboring doubts, openly share with her how the lack of transparency makes you feel. Explain that not knowing her close friends leaves you feeling uneasy, and that you'd like to understand this part of her life more. It's important to communicate your concerns without placing blame or accusations. Accept that you cannot control everything. Stoicism teaches that you cannot control others' emotions or actions. If she isn't comfortable sharing more about her friends, you need to accept that this is beyond your control. Instead of worrying excessively about what you can't influence, focus on what you can control: your own emotions and actions. Reevaluate the relationship. If after a candid conversation, she still refuses to be more transparent or offer reasonable explanations, it may be time to reflect on the relationship. A healthy relationship requires trust and openness from both partners. If you feel that this secrecy is damaging your sense of security and trust, it might be time to make an important decision for your well-being. Her maintaining multiple close friends that you don't know could be a sign of a lack of transparency or something unclear in the relationship. However, instead of letting negative emotions take control and create tension, you can approach the situation through a Stoic lens. Focus on what you can control. Keep your calm and composure, and don't let anxiety over things beyond your control disturb your inner peace. The key is to seek transparency and honesty in the relationship while maintaining your sense of peace and self-control. 11. She shows a lack of commitment when faced with direct questions. In any relationship, commitment serves as the foundation for security and trust. Discussing the future and long-term commitment is a natural and essential step, especially as a relationship becomes more serious. However, if she continually avoids or is unwilling to give straightforward answers about commitment when directly asked, this may signal a lack of readiness or reluctance to move forward together. This not only causes anxiety, but also raises doubts about her sincerity in the relationship. If you've tried to discuss commitment in the relationship, but she keeps avoiding the conversation, here are some clear signs to watch out for. She gives vague or non-specific answers. When you ask about the future of the relationship or long-term commitment, she might respond with something ambiguous like, "Let's see how things go," or "I'm happy with how things are right now." This lack of specificity can be a sign she's not ready to move forward. She avoids conversations about commitment. Anytime you bring up topics like settling down, marriage, or future plans, she might try to change the subject or give reasons to avoid discussing it. This could indicate a reluctance to face the responsibilities that come with a committed relationship. She doesn't provide clear commitments. Even when you directly ask about your future together, she remains non-committal or refuses to give a concrete answer. Being unable or unwilling to commit to a shared future could be a sign she's not serious about the relationship. She becomes defensive or uncomfortable when asked about commitment. Instead of calmly and honestly answering your questions, she might become defensive or irritated when faced with conversations about the future. This reaction can suggest that she's avoiding the issue or doesn't want to address it. Commitment is a vital component of any serious relationship. It creates a sense of security and trust, helping both partners know that they are working toward the same goals and share the same vision for the future. If one person isn't willing to commit, it can lead to feelings of uncertainty and insecurity in the relationship. You may start questioning whether the relationship has a future, and if you're investing time and energy into something that may not last. Furthermore, a lack of commitment could be a sign that she's not interested in a long-term relationship or may be maintaining other relationships. Regardless of the reason, being unable or unwilling to commit is a significant issue if you're looking for a serious and lasting connection. In situations like this, it's easy to feel frustrated, confused, or even want to push her to give a definitive answer. However, Stoic philosophy teaches us that instead of trying to force someone to be honest or committed, we should focus on how we face the truth. Marcus Aurelius, one of the great Stoic philosophers, once said, "Each individual is responsible for their own actions, and the only thing you can control is how you respond to them." This means that you can't force someone to be honest or committed if they aren't ready. Instead, you should focus on accepting the truth of the situation and controlling your response to it. When faced with her lack of commitment, here are a few ways to approach the situation rationally and maintain your peace of mind. Don't force her to commit. Instead of trying to push or pressure her into giving a definitive answer, accept that you cannot control how she behaves. Stoicism teaches that forcing someone only leads to frustration and tension. Stay calm and control your emotions. When she avoids or refuses to answer questions about commitment, remain calm and don't let your emotions take over. Getting angry or frustrated won't solve the problem and will only make things more complicated. Focus on the truth and accept reality. If she isn't ready to commit or gives ambiguous answers, that's a clear sign about the state of the relationship. Focus on facing the truth and resist the urge to try and change it. Acceptance of reality is a key principle of Stoicism. Reevaluate the relationship. If, after several discussions, she still can't commit or continues to avoid the issue, it may be time to reassess the relationship. A healthy relationship requires commitment and clarity from both partners. If that's missing, you may need to consider whether this relationship is truly right for you. A lack of commitment when faced with direct questions is a clear sign of unwillingness to move forward in the relationship. However, instead of trying to force her to change or demand answers, you can apply Stoic principles to maintain your composure and control your emotions. Accept that you cannot control others' actions and focus on how you deal with the truth. Don't let negative emotions disrupt your inner peace. Focus on accepting reality and managing your own response to it. Ultimately, if these signs really show she's in a lot of relationships, remember that your worth lies not in how others treat you, but in how you maintain dignity and a strong spirit. Act with clarity and calmness, without letting emotions guide you. Stoicism teaches us that sometimes accepting the truth and letting go can be the path to lasting liberation and happiness. True power lies not in controlling others, but in mastering oneself. Don't forget to click subscribe to our YouTube channel, click like video, write your share below video in the comment section. Thank you and see you in the next video.